People's Democratic Party Senate Caucus has claimed that the party is big enough to accommodate those shopping for a platform for opposition coalition. The caucus made the remark in reaction to the party's former presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, who is leading the drive to birth an opposition coalition, while the coalition is currently jostling for a political party to move to, but there are claims that it has adopted the African Democratic Congress. There are indications that Atiku's decision to form the coalition followed the infighting within the PDP leadership, and the coalition, when unveiled, will work towards ensuring President Bola Tinubu's re-election bid. Affirming the development, former Kaduna State Governor Nasser El-Rufai said the coalition would retire Tinubu back to Lagos State in 2027, while Senate Minority Leader and Benue South Senator Abamoro said PDP should drive the coalition. The caucus also refuted claims that the PDP is collapsing, saying internal disagreements are not exclusive to any one party, and urged party members to remain resolute, and expressing confidence that the PDP will emerge stronger and more competitive. Victor, when I was reading, at some point, you just... why that reaction? What's your take on this story?
I feel it's really unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate when you hear things like this. Although, I also believe it's a good thing because it reveals the kind of people that we had running the affairs of our political parties over the years, and why it seems our democracy has been struggling to grow, from one point to the other, as it should have been. I mean, look at a presidential candidate and look at a caucus of a certain group of people are the ones educating the likes of Atiku that are supposed to be leaders of the party, the need for sustaining the party, which is PDP, for any coalition and opposition. As far as I'm concerned, as a person, whatever coalition, whatever reason for coalition is selfish. And as long as that selfishness is there, it is not going to transform into the best for Nigerians as a people. Look, if as a politician or as politicians you cannot galvanize within yourself to organize a political party, how well can you now galvanize and organize a nation with even more multiple interests and people? It reveals the weakness of our leaders, at this level. I mean, if you want to talk about opposition, I like using President Bola Tinubu as a very good example of what opposition should be. Whether the party is doing well at that time or not, every party has a time. The essence of coming up with a party is not to always win an election. It's to drive leadership. It's to drive growth. It's to drive certain agenda, of the people. It's to serve as a vehicle for minds, like minds, to push an agenda. And if you as an individual, you bring people together, you stay, and all of a sudden, because there's disagreement, you jump to another platform that seems not to have this. See, the only reason whatever coalition is there is because they have not come together. The moment people come together, there will be disagreement. There will be interests, different varying interests. How you manage that is as important as how you become, come into any political positions. And so far, I think as Atiku has shown a poor style of leadership when it comes to democracy. I really don't admire his style of party politics. Okay, look. We've had the issue, one of the complaints, the likes of Nyesom Wike. Even leaving Nyesom Wike aside, we're in this country, we saw the meeting that the South governors had. They had a meeting, had the consensus, and said, okay, the party is going to zone election to this point. And all of a sudden, because of the interest of one man, all of that was thrown into the bin. And suddenly they came up with a new agenda, and this is where it got. It has weakened the opposition in this country. It has weakened the opposition in the state. Because instead of coming together and agreeing on a sensible idea for a political party, they push for their selfish interests, and it has killed the opposition in the PDP. Now they have killed the ship that they have rode on. They want to run and look for what is coalition. How come you cannot stay and manage the people in a party and yet you want to rule this country? For me, I think it's a defeatist theory, and I don't see it. It doesn't portend, it doesn't show anything good for the kind of leadership that we have. Of course, in terms of that level of political leadership.
Do you see the coalition being formidable enough to oust President Tinubu in 2027?
It's an opposition, quite all right. Whether it's going to be formidable enough to oust the president, only time will tell.
Right.
Because the intention, the interest, and the pattern in which they will come and do their coalition and, of course, present it to Nigerians will determine, how Nigerians react to it.
All right, very well. Honorable Kingsley, PDP Senate Caucus, they have taken a stand. What is your take with their stand in regards to the coalition? And what is your take in the possibility of the coalition being able to oust the president out of power in 2027?
The question now is, who are the PDP Senate Caucus?
Exactly.
Almost every day, PDP members in the Senate are leaving for the APC. Almost on a daily basis. In fact, if you are listening to the Senate President yesterday, he claimed that one of the senators from Lagos was even in his car waiting to join the APC. Now, if not for the fact that it is only APC members that were allowed into that summit that they had yesterday, the man would have joined him. So who else is remaining in the Senate who is a PDP member? The PDP is gone and shattered. Unfortunately, once revered as the largest political party in Africa, the umbrella is shattered. There is no hope for the PDP. And so you talk about the three, let me pick only the three persons who are, because I also know that our brother is part of it, because the chairman, the national chairman of the party had already said Rotimi Amechi is part of those who are approaching.
You want to pick the three arrowheads?
Let me pick, he's also an arrowhead, but the one that were mentioned in this particular,
Atiku Abubakar, Nasser El-Rufai,
and Nasser El-Rufai. I will treat their matters one against the other.
I also want you to look at Amechi as well.
Okay, I can also handle. Okay, let me start from Amechi. Amechi is my friend and my brother. A man who vowed to destroy his own political party. The party he championed in this state in 2013 and 2014, which I was part of. In a meeting at Odililo at the Dome, he vowed that he's going to destroy the PDP, the APC. He said so. And he, at the end, destroyed the APC in Rivers State. If not for few persons who decided to stay put and took up the shattered party and nursed it to where we are today, we would have had APC in Rivers State. That same man is the man who said he wants to run a coalition. A man whose interest supersedes every other person's interest. If you have known him, if you know him, if I work with him, his own interest, it doesn't matter what your interest is. As far as it is Amechi, if it is not him, it is not him. That kind of person will be difficult to form any coalition with. Very, very difficult. Now, talk about Nasser El-Rufai. Nasser El-Rufai is a religious bigot. One who believes...
There are certain words we can use.
No, because
you can't call him a bigot.
Though it is known everywhere in Nigeria.
Doesn't mean you have to use it on national terms.
I can say it anywhere. He should sue me.
Language, please.
He can sue me. Of course, you know me. This is one man in his own state that people begged him over time because of the crisis we had in his state. That please, can you allow a Christian to be your deputy governor? At the point where people were killed because of this crisis in his state, he vehemently refused. In fact, he even vowed that even if it will cost him, in one of the programs he attended, he said that he knows that there is nothing that will make him not to win election. It doesn't matter if a Christian is there or not. Of course, it was a narrow escape. He almost lost that election. But in 2023, he couldn't deliver anybody in his own state. He could not deliver. The senators were taken by another party. House of Representatives were taken by another party. The seat was also taken by another party. And so this is the same man who said he wants to form a coalition in Nigeria, and until that coalition would work, it would be difficult for a coalition of this kind of persons to work. Atiku Abubakar. Atiku Abubakar, if it is not Atiku, it is nobody. He must be Atiku. In fact, his interest in politics is that he must be the president. So that is the reason for which he has contested for several times and will still be contesting and will never win for the presidency. He was tested as a vice president. You know what he did? Just like what Jacob did to Laban, his father-in-law. He was given a little opportunity. All the rams that were given to Jacob to manage, he started painting them so that he could go. They learn anyone who has spots, he will take. He's painted all. Criminally minded. That is the kind of person I think he is.
Hold on.
He's not a criminal. But
you can't say he's criminal.
I didn't say he's a criminal.
You made an allegory.
I didn't say he's a criminal. I only tried to, narrate the issue of Jacob.
You could have narrated it without using that word, criminally minded.
He's not a criminal. I still repeat.
Okay, go ahead.
I didn't say he's a criminal. But in politics, there's a line you will cross. He becomes criminally minded. And so when I say he's criminally minded, I didn't call him a criminal. I still repeat and maintain my position.
You still have to be conscious.
I didn't say he's a criminal.
Go ahead.
Please, you know my style. I can say it anywhere. If I say you don't like it, take me to court. It's as simple as that. I can tell you that I didn't call him a criminal. But his actions portrays that what he's doing is wrong. Must you be the president? You could not salvage the crisis in your party after contesting as president. Now, your decision to stick to being the presidential candidate destroyed the party. And immediately after the election, you ran away. Up till now, the crisis in the UCOS have destroyed the party. And yet you could not come to salvage what is happening. Yet, you want to now form a coalition. What happens to your party? Why can't you rebuild your party and now run the presidential election under your party? You want to form a coalition. It will be difficult for an Atiku to agree to be a vice presidential candidate in whatever coalition that they're going to form. And that will be the greatest challenge they will have. Because an Obi, even if he wants to go, the Obi movement will not allow him to be a vice presidential candidate. And so you could see these persons are people who have greedy interests and they can never form any coalition at all. They can never form any coalition at all. I think that if they want to do anything, they should go back to their party. They should go. Already, Nasser El-Rufai had joined the SDP. He's a member of the Social Democratic Party. As of today, in his state, the state chairman of SDP said they don't want to see him. If a man like that, in his own state, the party chairman of the party he said he has joined, said they don't want to see him at all, and yet he wants to come to form a coalition at the national to win an election, and they even bragged that they are going to send Tinubu back to Lagos State. How? You are going to send a man from nowhere who consolidated on opposition parties all his years, strengthened the opposition parties, even won so many other parties back to opposition party in the West. Use an opposition to form a coalition, won a government at the center. You think you can bring him back to Lagos? It is not possible. That man is a political strategist. And so at the level where he is today, you could see what is happening in the APC. Since he became the president of this country and the leader of the All Progressive Congress, have you had any crisis in the APC? Even when the crisis had wanted to come up, he used his strength of character and the leadership style that have used over years to build his businesses. He used it to consolidate on the leadership of APC. And today, APC on daily basis is winning all the grounds, gathering strength. Almost everybody in other parties want to join the APC. And you think you can form a coalition that will host him? It will be very, very impossible. At least for 2027, it will be very, very impossible.
All right, very well. But you did not talk about Obi.
Obi, of course, we all know. I talked about Obi. The Obi's movement.
You just said the obedient movement.
Obi, for so many years, have been jumping from one party to another. In fact, at a point, they've had an Abga that any day he leaves Abga, the soul of Odumegwu should kill him. He will never. He vowed at the graveside of it, he will never leave Abga. He left Abga to PDP. From PDP, he couldn't consolidate in PDP. He ran to Labour. Labour gave him a platform that they had already built over years. He scattered the party. Today, Labour has Zenith. Labour had another. They have too many leadership. He couldn't.
How did he scatter the party?
Okay.
Accusations are on Abure, not
now who is the leader of Labour? As a presidential candidate who ran an election under the party, is he not the leader? Good. Every leader must show ambidextrous leadership style. And when you talk about ambidexterity in leadership, it connotes three major things. Very, very important. Okay? So if you don't have such leadership style and acumen, you can never lead. You can make moves. People can like you. Of course, the kind of propaganda he brought in 2023, that was the reason for which, you know, people felt they have seen a man in Peter Obi, because of the propaganda they carried against Ahmed Tinubu. He was wearing pampers, he's too old, he's this one, he's sickly, he cannot lead. Of course, as it is today, you can see that all those propagandas are nowhere. So which other propaganda is he going to use again? All those fictitious figures he was just telling us, statistics that were nowhere to be founded. So they were very puerile, and also today he has nothing to present to anybody anymore that they could follow him, nothing else. So forget about him.
Now more people will be joining this coalition.
I pray more people will join, but the truth is that in Nigeria we all know we need a strong opposition. So we are praying.
Now what if, have you wondered, what if PDP decides to you know, adopt this coalition?
Who is PDP as it is today? That's the question. And where is the PDP? The Damagon PDP. The man who wants to be bought and sold. The moment you bring money, Damagon is following you. Or the one that, what's his name, the Igbo man, is the secretary. Anyanwu is the secretary. Until you remove these persons, PDP.
Ologunaba. That's the article. That's public yes, secretary. Publicity secretary.
That one is a factional.
That's on that article.
It's a factional publicity secretary because the Anyanwu and the Damagon are using the deputy publicity secretary. So he is publicizing for Atiku and his faction. So you can see a shredded party. So as it is today, PDP has no strength to challenge anybody. There is no PDP at all. In fact, that is the reason why any person who wants to even get a ticket from PDP is playing to legality. You are not serious to contest the 2027 election. This is the reason why even the likes of Atiku is looking for a coalition. He knows that the chances of getting a ticket and even running with that ticket in 2027 in PDP is slim.
All right.
You understand what I'm saying? So if they can form a coalition, but the coalition can never oust the president for 20. They can be looking for 2031, maybe when they will begin to form a stronger coalition. But for 2027, it is practically impossible for anybody to come up today with any opposition to oust Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Well, Honorable Kingsley Akumefle has spoken, but it's also very clear that I pointed out here that Honorable Kingsley is a PDP, is an APC member. So we understand that perspective. But Victor, before we move over to the next story, I'm interested to know what you have to say as we move on.
Oh, I mean, like I said, and you know, when you listen to his analysis of the characters of the people that are frontlining this coalition, you ask yourself, is this what Nigeria actually need? You know, that by the side. My own problem is that for people that cannot coordinate themselves in a political party, that cannot solve the problems of a political party, that cannot organize themselves as a political party, how do you think these people, how well do you think they want to organize the nation as complex as Nigeria? Look, for Atiku, I want to say something. I think he has done his bit, and by now I expect that Atiku should be grooming leaders, people that will say, okay, these are the people following my principles. You know, these are the people that you know. Obasanjo, that was his boss, has killed. For me, if you can listen to what his boss said, which is, I mean, the most accurate presentation of a character, because your boss that you worked with will know how to describe you, has described him the way he described him in his book. I don't think Atiku has any business coming to want to come and be president of Nigeria. I think
he wants to be president. But that is clear.
No, like this is why I say this is discrediting whatever thing they think they want to do.
I'm saying that his ambition might be also the death of this coalition.
It is not might. It is. Because if you look at the coalition and these are the faces you see first of all, your reaction is their history. The antecedent is what you use to judge the coalition. They are the leaders. So to me, it is their agenda, it is their idea that will drive the coalition. So if I see, I come to you, I see, you say you want to help me, and next thing I see you with a gun pointing at me. What would be my first reaction? Is that, this guy will kill me now. Right. So yes, I mean, I don't even want to talk about Nasser. I was in Kaduna State. I lived in Kaduna South for some time. I know the history between the southern and northern Kaduna. I know how important it was for there to be some form of equity for the both religion, and this is beyond even religion. This southern Kaduna is beyond religion. It's also in culture. Their cultures are a bit different, and the people have different lifestyles. So there was always this push for a balance. If you're going as a northern governor, we should have at least somebody representing the Christian community in as deputy governor, or vice versa. When Nasiru El-Rufai came, he insulted people, insulted the sensitiveness of that dichotomy between the southern and northern Kaduna. He rubbished what everybody has to say. I mean, dismissed any consequences, and down to his children. Look at his sons online. Look at the kind of things that they pronounce. Look at the kind of things they say. They go as much as saying they will kill all the Christians and nothing will happen. This is the person that will come and say coalition. Come on. Today, the governor that is there, Obasani, that he has been fighting. Why? Because the guy refused to be a bigot like he is. And you said he shouldn't use the word, but he's a bigot. From his actions and precedent, you see that this guy has shown bigotry characteristics as a person. So that is what he is. That's what he has done. The facts are there. I'm not saying this is not my thinking. It's not an idea. It's the fact. He has said it himself. This is what he has represented. This is the picture he has painted about himself. So that kind of a person you want to trust will take a country as complex as Nigeria forward. From the likes of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that even if you say he is not sincere, he has shown you that, look, I'm open to being a changed person. This is the kind of people that want to. For me, I don't see the strength in that coalition.
All right, very well. Thank you so much.